Leadership style. MPH 5990, Emerging Issues in Public Health, Leadership in Public Health, with Dr. Krista Shoemaker by Sydney Baker. Daniel Goleman is a New York Times best-selling author and psychologist who wrote a book, Emotional Intelligence, which educates on the importance of emotions in leadership, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. These are all extremely important and key values in being a successful leader. Past Goleman's 6 styles of leadership, there are various styles, all with their respected meaning of what and why, and some of these other styles are listed here. Producing and optimizing. Producing can be defined in multiple ways. End quote. To cause, to have existence or to happen, bring about. End quote. End quote. To give being, form, or shape to, make, especially, manufacture. End quote. Quote. To compose, create, or bring out by intellectual or physical effort. To cause, to accrue. End quote. And these are from the Merriam-Webster dictionary with no date listed. Optimize can be defined as, end quote, to make as perfect, effective, or functional as possible, end quote. These are also from the Merriam-Webster dictionary with no date given. Listed here on the screen, you see Explorer, thinking is about generating creative ideas. Planner, thinking is about designing effective systems. Energizer, thinking is about mobilizing people into action. Connector, thinking is about building and strengthening relationships. Expert thinking is about achieving objectivity and insight. Optimizer thinking is about improving productivity and efficiency. Producer thinking is about achieving completion and momentum. Coach thinking is about cultivating people and potential. These are all various categories of leadership, and you might wonder, well, what makes one different from the other? And it kind of just depends on the person, the organization they're being used in, and the type of leader who is leading the organization. A macro manager is a type of boss or supervisor who takes a more hands-off approach and lets employees do their jobs with minimal direct supervision. This style of leadership is referred to as macro management. Macro managers can be thought of by some employees as supervisors who do not give them enough support or feedback to do their jobs effectively, while others may be glad to be trusted and be left alone. Micro-level leadership is a style of leadership that involves being detail-oriented and involved in the day-to-day activities of an organization. It's different from micromanagement, which is when a leader does someone else's work for them. Macro versus micro. You can kind of see here in this picture, in the macro level, there's uncollaborative leaders, external changes, corporate communication, internal changes, bureaucracy. External meso, which is managing poor performers, time, managing time, different personalities, fairness. These are kind of things that you can control, but at the same time, you can't. And then micro, self-awareness, trusting others, trusting higher power, trusting self, or trusting your instincts. These are the interpersonal level. So, things we all can control as our own person. A world filled with acts of micro leadership is one where it's possible for everyone to be a leader even without being the leader. It's one where rather than the exceptional few, leaders are the exceptional many. And it's a world completely within our reach. All it takes is to stop waiting for someone to tell us that we are the leader and instead choose every day through our own acts of micro leadership to be a leader. And this is from Budok in 2023. My personal leadership style. In the first week of this course, MPH 5990, Emerging Issues in Public Health with a Leadership and Public Health Focus, with Dr. Krista Shoemaker, we took a shift thinking assessment. My results were producing. End quote. Producing thinking has a detail orientation with a focus on action. Those who favor producing thinking style like to get things done, checking it off the list, sustaining momentum, and achieving results. End quote. From Shift Thinking Styles in 2015. I agree with these results. I focus on details, yet I am always focused on progressing and moving forward. I like to work towards my goals in life, but will slow down to add beneficial moments, knowledge, etc. along the way. I do enjoy team oriented work as I grew up playing team sports, but I only enjoy teamwork when all members of the team are working for the greater good and the same goal. From reading the article provided by Boncheck and Still in week 1, I feel as on the macro level or big picture, I could be a planner or energizer. I also feel connection, but I feel as if in this realm, I am more a planner or energizer. Planner thinking is about designing effective systems, and energizer thinking is about mobilizing people into action. So, encouragement, excitement, inspiration, all those things. And this is again from Boncheck in 2015. I do agree with the fact that I can be viewed as a producer, but I also think I fit into the optimizer micro category. I strive to improve productivity and efficiency in anything I do, no matter what, a job, whatever role it may be. After doing some review and research on the USC Price School of Public Policy, I feel I identify most with a frontline leader. A frontline leader is, end quote, engaged and know how to connect with followers. They are emotionally intelligent, generous, and empower those around them to achieve their best, end quote. The values of frontline leaders are, end quote, show up, you can't lead from your office. Be present, you lose out when you're distracted. Demonstrate empathy, let others know that you care. Practice awareness, it improves your decisions. Share yourself, this helps you be authentic. Empower your people, they are the catalyst. Be a storyteller, connect deeply with others, end quote. This is from the USC Price School of Public Policy. I think these are really good categories or just things that you should do as being a frontline leader, but remembering that your employees or teammates, your group, they're catalysts. So you have to support the people that you work with or that you are leading. That's the biggest thing. They have to feel support, so empower them, be authentic, be truthful with each other. Studies have shown that valuing and utilizing frontline employees are a key factor in building an engaged workforce. Another source says, in quote, frontline leaders are liable for over 80% of the workforce. They are responsible not only for their own performance, but the performance of their teams and the organization at large. They direct performance and people. They implement strategy and learning, and they encourage innovation and engagement. This is from Morgan in 2019. I think I least identify with contrarian leaders. Some contrarian values are, in quote, think gray, either or thinking can limit your options and keep you stuck. Do leadership, don't get stuck in being a leader to enjoy prestige or privileges. Delegate decisions to subordinates frequently, put off decisions, which creates many issues that either work themselves out or aren't important. Listen to experts, but keep your skepticism. Balance your vision with ideas from your followers, end quote. This is again from the USC Price School of Public Policy. LinkedIn also says, end quote, contrarian leaders are fearless in going against the flow and challenging conventional thinking, end quote, from Elliott in 2024. So a pretty recent article. I think I could try and embrace, end quote, going against the flow or quote unquote going against the flow to develop competencies in the contrarian style. According to Michigan State University, end quote, a visionary leader ensures the vision becomes a reality by stating clear goals, outlining a strategic plan for achieving those goals, and equipping and empowering each member to take action on the plan at the organizational, team, and individual levels, end quote. To me, visionary leadership is working towards a quote-unquote vision or idea you or a group may have. It is leading a group of people to a common goal or even yourself. I think visionary leadership is extremely important in a team environment, especially in healthcare and public health. Once you set the vision or what you're working for, it creates a goal for everyone to collectively work towards. I have been a part of many teams in my life where visionary leaders or my elders or someone that sets a spark and excitement in the younger players or team members. I was fortunate enough to be a part of 3 state championship teams in high school softball, and each year our seniors would create a team slogan. One year it was, 212 or 212 go the extra degree because water boils at 212 degrees but not at 211 degrees. They sat us down and showed us a video on this, and then we made a team chant that we said before and after every single game. This gave us all the vision and what was expected to always go the extra degree for our team and to better ourselves. I am grateful to have been led by multiple visionary leaders within my time playing sports. Overall, I align with the following styles: producing, optimizing, frontline leading, and visionary. I work well in team environments and I actually really enjoy being a part of a team. I love having a common goal to work towards, creating a vision for a team, helping others create success, and leading others with a servant heart. I put others above myself in order to support their needs and help them out in the ways that they need it most. Application and practice, listening to understand, not just to hear. Something I think many people need to work on, and me, myself included. I still remember the day vividly. The tension on the hospital floor felt almost palpable. Nurses were snapping at each other over charting errors or being tired, and even our patients noticed the friction between nurse techs and the nurses. It wasn't just a bad day, but it was a bad dynamic. As a lower level provider, I felt stuck in the middle, not officially in charge, but I also was not completely powerless. On one particularly chaotic morning, I found myself at odds with the nurse over a seemingly trivial miscommunication about patient rounds. So we go in and out, kind of at the same time, kind of not, but more or less we communicate about what's going on. She was clearly overwhelmed, and I was new to the floor in this nurse tech job as I recently just switched jobs at the hospital I work at. As I walked away, I caught sight of one of our patients staring at us, and you could kind of tell they were worried and a little bit uncomfortable. That look hit me hard. We weren't just failing each other as coworkers, but we were failing our patients, or patient in this case. Even though I was new to this job, I still had the ability to help change this. And that was kind of my wake up call and what made me be like, what can I do different? That evening, I reflected on what had gone wrong. I thought about my role, not as a leader, but as someone who could influence the team's dynamic. Leadership, I realized, wasn't about titles, it wasn't about attitude, or it was about attitude, action, and the ability to inspire others toward a shared goal, which I kind of thankful for my parents. They helped me remember that I can make a difference just by the way I am towards others and the way I lead, even if I'm not the leader. I decided to focus on two key principles: being a producer and an optimizing leader. A producer doesn't just do their job, they go above and beyond to deliver results. An optimizing leader looks for ways to make systems better, even in small incremental ways. The next day, I made a conscious effort to approach work differently. Instead of focusing on what I couldn't control, I zeroed in on what I could. In healthcare, this is big. So big it's hard to really put into words. This is a field where everything matters, especially when patients' health is at stake and the utmost priority. The first thing I made sure to always do was listen. By this, I mean listen to understand, not to just hear what I was being told. My parents taught me this at a young age, and this is key to being a good listener and team player. During a morning report, so we do morning report each morning when we get there about 6:30. We work 7 to 7, so 12-hour shifts. I noticed that people seemed hesitant to speak up about issues that had been going on. Even though I was new, I made a point of encouraging quieter team members to share their concerns with the group, not just to each other, because then it almost comes off as like they're talking behind people's backs, or which we're all guilty of at times. But I just think when you share it with the group, it makes everyone aware of the issues that are going on and easier to fix versus expecting someone to read your mind and they might not even know what's going on, which is something I have really noticed even in my previous job at this hospital. Instead of brushing off complaints, I offered solutions, even small ones. When one nurse mentioned the confusion around certain task assignments, I suggested a certain color coding system for the whiteboard that the unit clerk uses, because we have a whiteboard that all the patient rooms are written on, and that's how we all know what patients we have, what nurse is with our patients, who's getting discharged, who's going to a nursing facility, who's discharging to home, like all the things. There's a lot to it, but color coding it where everyone knew the colors would help with the efficiency because each unit clerk would do something different Basically, we just needed consistency so everyone knew what was going on. I think it is important to keep in mind that everyone has their own different way of doing things, and if one is more effective, we should at least slow down and listen to their suggestions. I also started modeling the behavior I wanted to see, which this is something my parents have preached to me since I was a young a young girl. When things got stressful, instead of snapping, I would ask, "How can I help you? Can I help you? Is there anything I can do?" When I made a mistake, I owned up to it quickly and openly. These actions weren't revolutionary, but they began to shift the energy on the hospital floor. Over the next few weeks, I focused on producing high quality work while also helping others excel. I noticed that my colleagues started to mirror this mindset. One of the nurses began voluntarily organizing supplies I needed when we bring patients back from the hospital instead of just relying on me to do it because they realized that even though we're just nurse techs, we also have plenty of responsibilities to do too to take care of the patients and patients that are coming back from surgery. Slowly but surely, the culture shifted from one of blame to one of teamwork. How can I help you? Can I help you? Do you need anything? These are the things we need. I also worked on optimizing workflows. I spent time analyzing how we do our discharge process, which was something that frequently got nurses caught up in nurse techs. After gathering input from my nurse techs, the people I work with, we figured that when we know a patient's getting discharged, which again they put on the whiteboard, we can go help the patient get ready, get their belongings together. That way, when the nurse is done and going over their discharge paperwork with them, they're free to go and they're no longer waiting on us. This helps speed things up immensely. One day during another morning report, one of the nurses singled me out and she said, "I just want to say that the energy on the floor has improved a lot lately." And I credit that a little bit to the way you've been stepping up, which I don't take compliments very well, but I did appreciate that. It wasn't the recognition that mattered to me most, it was seeing the effect of all the small changes. By choosing to lead from where I stood, which in my eyes was just a low level spot, I had cultivated a culture of accountability and support. My colleagues felt it, our patients felt it, and I felt it. This experience taught me an invaluable lesson. You don't need a title to being a leader. Being a producer means taking pride in your work and setting a standard for others. Being an optimizing leader means seeking opportunities for improvement, no matter how small. Together, these qualities can transform not just a team, but an entire environment. Leadership is about influence, and influence begins with me, it begins with you. Whether you're in charge or not, you have the power to cultivate change, and that power can ripple far beyond than you would ever imagine. Although we all have our own leadership experiences, we can look to the leaders of public health to learn, encourage, and inspire us to always grow our skill set to keep up with the current data and knowledge of public health. There are many prominent leaders in public health that we can learn updated information from. One I particularly like and feel I relate to is Harvard Health. In quote, Harvard Health is a top public health influencer both in the US and around the world. Its goal is to deliver the most current health information. Drawing from 10,000 plus faculty physicians at Harvard Medical School, they offer trustworthy health information. Harvard Health is a key influencer on public health Twitter. Harvard Health has consistently been a recognized voice in the world of health and medicine, and the staff and expertise to respond to critical issues of interest to its international audience. It is a source that's frequently cited for its credibility and science based veracity. And this is from MPH Online with no date given. Harvard Health leads the public health field because they utilize their resources, the 10,000 plus faculty members on staff that are a wealth of knowledge. They know the importance of diversity and they utilize the diverse knowledge and skill sets of their faculty members. By doing so, they are able to cover an immense amount of topics. This also gives them the ability to lead their field while not necessarily being named the leader. This is how I've explained I feel as a leader myself. I have the ability to lead without actually being the leader. It is something I greatly admire in public health and when looking for a mentor or someone to learn from. Harvard Health recently did a video discussion with Healthy People 2030, furthering their knowledge by connecting with other powerful leaders in public health. This creates a stream of knowledge that seems almost never ending. This video was created in 2021 and it allowed its participants to ask questions too, which is important in this field to welcome curiosity and questions. After further research on leadership and analyzing statistics over the years, it is known the way you lead an organization is a direct reflection of the success it brings or cultivates. Some statistics worth paying attention to are as follows. End quote, 79% of employees will quit due to lack of appreciation. While 83% of organizations believe it's important to develop leaders at every level of the company, only 5% of businesses have implemented leadership development at all levels. 78% of business leaders actively and regularly focus on engaging with their employees. Only 48% of employees view their leadership companies as high quality. Their company's leadership as high quality, I'm sorry. Only 10% of people are natural leaders. Another 20% show some qualities of basic managerial talent that can be cultivated into high quality leadership. U.S. businesses spend $166 billion on leadership development each year, nearly half of the $366 billion that's spent globally. In the U.S. alone, U.S. businesses, that's just crazy. End quote. That's from Kaiser in 2023. You might ask, how do we get here? What makes us a great leader? Some top skills of great leaders are self development, team development, strategic thinking and acting, ethical practice, and civic mindedness and innovative abilities. This is again from Kaiser in 2023. This skill set is common among leaders and CEOs across the United States of America. Why self-development is important and needs to be recognized. In quote, self-development is essential for leaders because it enables them to grow their skills and knowledge, stay up to date with trends, develop better relationships with team members, and become more self-aware and confident in their decisions. End quote. And this is from Life Alofa and No Date Given. We must be learning, growing, and working towards our own goals in order to effectively lead an organization or team. Self-reflection and self-development should be a top priority for any leader. Really, even any employee in a company. You should always want to better yourself to, move up in the company. If I were leading an organization, I would make others feel comfortable to speak up, even if I don't agree. I mean, we don't always all agree, but I always want someone to feel welcome to give me their opinion. I would do this by listening to understand them, not just to hear them. I would encourage self-development, and I think I would have a small library or area of books for their own reading if they would like. This is due to the fact that I have read plenty of books on leadership, self-help, mentorship books, how to be a great leader, how to be a leader when you're not the leader. That's a book I really like. And I really have. Even before these classes, I've read all of these. So I think that it would be really cool to have a little area for employees or team members to utilize those resources if they wanted to. I would also make sure I have clear expectations set for each employee. Making decisions efficiently is key to leading successfully. Expectations should be clear so that they know when they are meeting and or exceeding them. This is especially important when meeting performance goals. This also gives the employee the ability to recognize their success and ensure they are being compensated accordingly. Setting clear expectations not only serves the employees, but the overall company. As leaders, it allows us to see who is really on the A team. I would hold weekly meetings. This is also subject to change, like this is a give or take, but for sure weekly meetings, and they might be more frequent or less frequent if needed. But I would ensure my employees and teammates always feel heard and like they have the opportunity to challenge thinking to create new ideas or goals. As an employee who often has felt lost or wondering if I'm doing my job correctly due to lack of recognition from my supervisor, I would always provide feedback for my team. This ensures that they know if they are moving forward and if they need to change anything that they are doing. I would ensure I always had a mentor for myself, that there was so that I had someone to lead me, challenge me, and educate me with their own wealth of knowledge. Success. A 2013 article by Forbes says that the most successful leaders do 15 things each day, and they are as follows. 1. Make others feel safe to speak up. 2. Make decisions. 3. Communicate expectations. 4. Challenge people to think. 5. Be accountable to others. 6. Lead by example. 7. Measure and reward performance. 8. Provide continuous feedback. 9. Properly allocate and deploy talent. This is so important. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you're the best person to do something. And I wish more people recognize this. You got to utilize talent in the best place for it so that you're making your employee happy, and it's just good for the overall company. And that's something I feel like you don't see or hear often. So I love number 9. 10, ask questions and seek counsel. So leadership or someone to look up to. 11, problem solve and avoid procrastination. 12, positive energy and attitude. 13, be a great teacher. 14, invest in your relationships. And 15, genuinely enjoy responsibilities. This is from Lopez in 2013. The key to success, as I see it, is being coachable, willing to utilize outside sources when needed, being resilient, being a good listener, and being trustworthy, ultimately being a leader. This is much like being a member of a sports team, and I credit a lot of my own success and ability to work well with others and my teammates. To work well with others to my teammates and coaches I've learned from in all the previous years. Thank you for your time. This was presented by Sydney Baker.